De La Salle North Catholic invites its students into a demanding schedule, all in good preparation for their time in their desired colleges. Classes, teachers, and supervisors expect the most from us. Now, I would like to introduce a fellow senior, Elisa Boyer, who is going to share her story about preparation.
Think about how you got here today. Now think about what it took for you to get here. Were you handed all of the things you have dreamed about and worked diligently for? Chances are, you getting here was not a straight and narrow path. Chances are, you had many circumstances and people obstructing your journey. Chances are, the odds were against you. Now, the thing about odds is that they're never in our favor. If every person lived their life according to their odds, the world would remain still and rather predictable. If destinies were set in stone and meant to be left alone, then all we would have to do to predict our future would be to look at those around us and be satisfied with the thought that we would inevitably end up just like them, a mirror copy. Except many of us do not settle, and even with the clear cut-out example of what our life should end up like, we have all decided to remold and reshape our lives accordingly. We have all beat the odds. I, for one, did not settle for what I was cut out to be. My family was not the most well-off or the worst off. We managed to survive with little room to go beyond that. My family did not choose to further their education and merely had to be satisfied with jobs, not solid careers. I didn't have the ideal home or the picture-perfect family. As a child, I thought that this was all my life would amount to, living paycheck to paycheck, working jobs I despised for the sole purpose of providing, staying within the confines of my house, not exploring new cities and beachy avenues, for me to ultimately end up surviving, not living, not thriving. Until the day I was introduced to books. Now I know what you might be thinking, books, really? How could one book do anything significant for a child? How did books transform your life? Well, books were my tools to new possibilities. Instead of the straight and narrow path I was set up to walk on, I paved new paths and opened my eyes to new possible outcomes through books. Delving into new worlds proved to me that I could aspire to be anything. No dream of mine would be too unrealistic, too big, or too far-fetched. Flipping through page after page, story after story, I could not get enough. Each series was a rebirth into a new life. Immersing myself into a new identity opened my eyes. I was exposed to various characters, all of whom face adversity, but still manage to persevere and make it in life. I started thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? Why can't I be successful just like these characters? This was my ticket to escaping what I was set up to be. This was a pivotal point in my life. From that point on, I knew there was more out there for me. I knew that if I wanted to strive for those possibilities, though, I would have to work hard because it would not be an easy task. Paving new paths requires diligence and perseverance. Soon, the impossible would become possible. I knew that pursuing my education seriously would be the first brick in my fresh new path. I learned about De La Salle through an old mentor of mine and decided to come here not too long into my research. This school turned out to be a wonderful support system through various difficult times I faced over my 4 years here. Without Ms. Argento, Ms. Navarrete, Mrs. Ward, Ms. Young, Ms. Shapker, and others, I'm not sure I could have simultaneously managed to deal with tough family situations and schoolwork. These teachers always checked up on me and constantly reminded me of my goals and encouraged me to keep pushing through because these struggles would only be temporary. Although I now feel I'm the protagonist in my story, I realized I was an antagonist in my life as well. There were times during my journey where I felt the challenges were too great to overcome. I felt conquered, hopeless, and just plain exhausted. But like most characters, I chose to let others support me and to utilize my resources. I started seeking out guidance, and those people helped me realize I already possessed all of the tools I needed to be victorious. As my chapter here at De La Salle gradually comes to a close, naturally a new chapter is destined to begin, as my story is not quite finished. I'm about to embark on a new adventure and start my next chapter at the University of Chicago on a full ride scholarship. This dream was something I once deemed impossible for someone like me, someone of my race, of my background, of my economic status. But I learned that who you are, where and what you come from doesn't have to dictate the path you are destined to walk on. You can be the outlier in your story, the one who defies all odds. As William Shakespeare once said, it's not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Thank you, De La Salle, and everyone here. With your support, you can help others realize their dreams too. Thank you.